Good morning. I'm so glad that you're here with me this morning. Well, I'm just having a cozy morning. Sorry, I've got a little bit of my throat irritation this morning. Still hadn't got that sinus and mess that's been trying to come on. I've been fighting it off pretty good. But this morning, I'm just having a cozy morning. I'm glad that you're here to join me. I wanted to share with you, I got my screensaver on and it's a burning fireplace and I really like the way it looks. It's adding to the coziness. And I did get the lights added to this flower arrangement and I wanted to show that to you. It's not completely, totally bright, but it looks good. Let me see if I can turn the light off. And you can see how it looks lit up. So I got those lights plugged in and I like the way that it looks. The lights are not quite big enough, the string of lights, to really go up here to the ends. And plus these little dried flowers and the little flowers, I don't think they could hold the weight of those lights anyway, because you know they're fairly heavy. But I did get some of them tucked in and they look good. I've been enjoying the warm lights of those the warm glow of those lights and this flower arrangement. I've been tickled with it. When you come in, I put it right here where the TV's at. And I just like the warm glow of it. And it adds a lot to the fall decor. I did want to show y'all that I think I told you that I was going to get those lights plugged up. I am going to pick this morning's Harney and Sons tea. This is a really good tea right here. It's the Hot Cinnamon Sunset. The Hot Cinnamon tea is their biggest seller. And the Earl Grey. I like the Earl Grey. And here's Hot Cinnamon Spice. That one sounds delicious for fall. And then the Pumpkin Spice. Now these are the Harney and Sons. They're the best teas. They're the teas that I really enjoy. It's my favorite tea. I've got a few back here. I've shared these with you before, I think. These are the Secret Garden teas. And they're fall flavors. And then here's a Harvest Pumpkin from the grocery store. But guess what? I went to Walmart the other day and they have Harney and Sons tea at Walmart. Can you believe it? Right in their tea section, if you go and look at our Walmart, they have 3 different selections. They have this one, the Hot Cinnamon Sunset, which is a best seller. They have the Earl Grey. This one's also a favorite for many people. I like it. And then they had a peppermint tea at Walmart. So if you like Harney and Sons and you want to try it out before you invest big with it, then just go ahead and go to Walmart. I'm going to open this one up. I think I'm going to have this Hot Cinnamon Spice tea this morning. I think that's going to be my choice of tea for this morning. Of course, it smells great. If you like cinnamon, then you'll like this tea. It is their best seller. It's delicious. No two ifs, ands, and buts about it. It's really good. So that's what I'm having this morning. I like having a fall selection of teas. I've got my fancy tea tray out here and my choices of tea for them this morning. I'm going to light my candle. Now, this is the first candle I have lit this season. I don't burn them through the spring and summer most of the time, but I do like to burn them in the fall and the winter. This is a 2-wick candle, and I got it at Home Goods. You might remember seeing it on one of my Home Goods hauls. There we go. And it's an autumn candle. It's an autumn harvest. I love Home Goods candles. I've never bought a bad candle from there. I've got my cinnamon tea bag in here and I'm ready to get that tea steeped. I've just been having a really cozy morning. I haven't pushed myself today. It's actually Wednesday. My cup is just one, I think. I'm not sure where I got this cup. I might have shared it with you before. But it's just a blue and white drip glaze pottery cup. Nothing really special, but special enough to enjoy the tea with this morning. I love blue and white, so it's a favorite. That's a favorite cup already. I hope that things are going really good for you at this time of the year. I hope you're full-blown enjoying your fall. I got to go see Mama Monday, so I got to drive up there and see leaf change. Donald and I went to the mountains a different direction to get more apples. The end of the apples are here. It was not a good year for apples in the Virginia area. The frost came early and bit them back. That's what they call it. The apples are not prolific. Sometimes they'll go all the way into November, to the end of November, when the apples are doing great. But this year the apples got bit back by frost, and we didn't have as many, and so it's just we just didn't have as many to choose from there in the mountains. But me and Donald drove up there, and we got this box right here. We got Golden Delicious and Red Delicious. Half we mixed them, and we were happy to get those. They're really good at this time of the year, especially those yellow apples. I like to cook with them or eat them raw, fresh. Let this tea steep so we can get some of that. And of course, as we drove up there to get those apples, we enjoyed that scenery immensely. Now, when me and Donald went up there, that was on a Sunday. The leaves hadn't changed very much at all. It's just a smattering, or just a brushing of change. But when I went up there Monday, in the just 1 day difference, it was a lot of leaf change. But of course I couldn't record that because I was driving, and maybe y'all can drive and record, but not a good idea for me, so I didn't record it for you. But I did record a little with Donald, so I'm going to include that footage at the end of the video, and you can kind of see what it's like in our area, or what it was like last week. And even this week there's more change. It was absolutely beautiful. Monday when I went, of course I went in a different direction than Donald and I went, but it was just so many beautiful colors. I just enjoyed the drive up there and enjoyed the drive back. It was so beautiful. I love the fall colors and the feeling when the seasons start to change. It's actually getting really chilly out here, and feeling like fall. The days are getting a little bit shorter, and it's moving right along. Well, I've been busy. I know you've been busy. I'm going to show you one of the things that I did. If you remember me showing you around, there was a mirror right here. I had a mirror that I've probably had for 30 years, and it was made in North Carolina at the Mirror Company. I think that's in Wilmington, and I had bought it a long time ago. It had a bow on it, and it had the gold leaf on the frame. Well, I had had that so long, I just decided that it was time to change it up, and I put the two prints that Donald bought for me over the years. He bought me this Kathleen's Geraniums by Carolyn somebody. Her name's on the other side. But I absolutely love geraniums. Right here it is. Carolyn Rowe, and that's who it's by. You can see the signature. You can order these prints online. They're not like real hard to get or anything. I just really loved it because I love the content of this. These geraniums and these terracotta pots with some little moss on them. It just struck a chord with me. It's a print that I really love, and of course we need this lamp here because we work at this table a lot, and this lamp is a good light to have right here near it. And then of course you saw where he bought this for my birthday, which looks a lot like the house that I grew up in, and so it's beautiful. I know there's a glare on it from that light, but you can see it's an old house, the same like when we grew up. So I just decided to put these right here more prominent where I could see them, because it's two prints that I really love, and they're sentimental to me because my husband bought them for me on different special days. And this is my grandma. I've shared this picture with you over and over. She's actually my great grandma. She's my mother's grandmother on her father's side. And this is Granny Tate, and she did great things. She was a midwife and delivered babies. I've shared that story with you before. She is half Cherokee, and you can see her geraniums right there in the back. So that's just like a family flower that we love. You see her little geraniums she's got right here. And I love that they're in plastic jugs and coffee cans. She would plant in what she had available, and I always had the most beautiful plants. She was also the forager of the family. She foraged, and she could tell you what all the plants were about. They were medicine. In her generation, they were medicinal plants, and she used them as such. And I just connect with her so much, and I am so much like her. Mama says you're so much like her. I have interest in herbs, the healing properties, and all the wonderful things in the herbs, and she was the same way. Thought I'd share that with you once again, just to show you the connection of the geraniums. And I try to have potted geraniums around my house, every summer. So I moved that mirror and I donated it. I took it and donated it to the thrift store that helps feed the community, and they were happy to get it. So it'll bring some good. I enjoyed it for 30 years, and I didn't want to store it. I'm so tight on storage as I'm going through things. And I have a gap up here. The mirror kind of filled this up much more. The mirror was here, and then there was a bow, bow feature up on top that took up this space. Well, I'm not going to put another picture up there, I don't think. What I'm going to do is put plates across here, 3 blue and white plates. That's something I like to incorporate in my decor, the blue and white. So I'm going to add those right up there on top of that picture and see how that looks. Yeah, I have been extremely busy. It's just picked up at this time of the year, and it always does. We were thinking about how it picks up at this time of the year every year. That candle's starting to smell really good. And this cinnamon is smelling really good. I can't wait to get that going. So hot right now. I gotta give it a minute. Gotta give it a minute to cool off. We have been working in the garden some. We've been out there just starting garden cleanup and plans that what's going to be happen next with the garden. Cleaning up a little bit of drippage. I certainly know why you need tea towels when you have tea, because you always dribble a few drops of water somewhere when you're trying to make tea, or I do. It seems like I do. I was trying to get that off of the table, and we'll walk outside and just look a little bit while this tea cools. I'll show you how the garden's looking. What an absolutely gorgeous fall day. Beautiful out here. That sky is beautiful. You can see those leaves are changing, and it is a beautiful fall day. I got some things cut back in the garden yesterday. I got to work out here for just a little bit, so I got a little bit more of this cleaned out. This is the lemon balm. I'll probably take it down to the ground. And then here is what I pulled out. And look, this is that little butterfly that gets on the passion flower. That's its little caterpillar. I did know the name of that butterfly, but it slips my mind now. If I can look, I'll put it on the screen if I can remember to do that. But when I cut down these passion flowers, I found some of these where they're going to molt, in the passion vine that was still left on this trellis. Now I've got out here, I hadn't got the dirt around this tea bush. I've got to do that today. It is starting to get chilly, and I do not want that thing to freeze up on me. I don't want my tea bushes to get too cold. So I'm going to put some a little bit more compost around those roots. I'm going to go ahead and do it while I'm thinking about it, because I don't want to take too long and that thing freeze up because I didn't get on the ball. I'll take just a little extra in case something else over there needs a little bit of soil. Oh, that sun looks pretty coming through there this morning. I can hear the birds. This is my 10 minutes from pulling yesterday and 10 minutes from pulling this morning. I got all of this pulled off of this trellis here. I really love the way the fall garden looks after it's been cleaned up. It's just, it just looks so pretty. Over here I found, when I removed some of those trellises, some of the things that I had planted, some rudbeckia and stuff that didn't really grow up too good. Right here's two stands of it. I may have to dig those up and replace them. There's the yarrow. It should do better now that it doesn't have so much other things clouding it out. It should get a little bit bigger this year. It hadn't been here for very long. This was its first year. So I've got to get out here and make sure it's got plenty of room. But I got the bucket of compost that I'm going to bring over here and put around the tea tree, the Camellia sinensis, the true tea bush that all tea comes from. This is it, the Camellia sinensis. It's been blooming. It's got some little dried up blooms, but it's still got plenty of good blooms on it too. And I really enjoy these little blooms, even if they're not very big. I think they're beautiful. So I showed you before, you can see where the roots are up on top here, where it had been root bound in its little container when I bought it from the nursery. And all these little roots are up here on top. It didn't affect this Camellia sinensis negatively to have those roots on top. We'll pull out a little bit of this Virginia creeper. We're trying to get the Virginia creeper out of the garden. We've decided we don't want it in here anymore. It's not worth its taking up space. So we're pulling that out, and it's a good time to get it out at this time of the year when everything is getting cleaned up and you can see where it's at better. But get back to this Camellia sinensis and these roots right here. You see this root ball up. It hasn't negatively affected this. It's got its new growth. It did really good. You see there's new growth on it this year. So it's doing well here. But for the winter time, I'm going to go ahead and put the compost over the top to just make sure it has some added protection. Those roots, when it gets cold, I want to make sure that it's protected. So I'm just going to work some of this around. Cover up those roots that were exposed. and just give it that extra layer of protection of this compost. And I may even put a light mulch around it. I've noticed there's a lot of pine needles laying around, so I may just put those pine needles right over it. This one over here seems to be doing great too. Its roots are not showing. It's growing much a little deeper than the other one. It's doing great. It bloomed. So they're looking good. They're doing well right here. I wasn't sure if they would or not. This one got a little bit sun scalded, you can see right here. There's a little sun scald on it because it's not shaded. They do need some shade. I thought this would do great because I've got this camellia over here. Now this is just a beautiful camellia with pink blossoms. It's going to bloom here. It'll be blooming even if we have a snowstorm. This camellia will be blooming in the snow. I've got to trim it up and try to root some of the new growth that's on this. But this camellia does so well here. I started this camellia from a tiny little start that my friend gave me. And when I say tiny, I want to say it was probably about 3 or 4 inches tall like this. She gave me a few cuttings and I put it in dirt. And this is where this big, beautiful camellia came from. And this thing blooms heartily. It'll bloom and give winter color. So there's something always blooming in this garden. And that camellia right here is one that blooms great even in the winter. You know, I have some winter blooms. Now this Camellia sinensis, which is the true tea bush, I thought that they would do well here because this camellia did so well here. So we're going to continue to see. I thought about moving them when I first put them in because they did suffer a little bit of shock from being moved. But I can see now that they've got new growth and that they're doing well. I got the dirt around that Camellia sinensis right there because, you know, my future plans are to be able to harvest, make my own small batches of tea for personal use, and I'm looking forward to doing that. But I did get these pulled up in the past 2 days. I've got to get them all carried over there where they need to go and get this looking, you know, get this looking better. But that's just been a little bit of fall cleanup here and there. The echinacea right here is blooming and it looks great. Got plenty of fresh new blooms. Now I don't know how many of them are going to make it because it might get frosted and bit back. But the wonderful thing about it is it did have a second blooming, and here they are. They're beautiful and I've been really enjoying them. And I might harvest these for tea. These are still hanging in there. The rosemary's looking good. Plenty of lemon balm everywhere. That sage looks good. Now I've got to be making plans for next year's garden already. Got to fill up the bird baths. Carry some weeds down. I pulled here, and I also pulled over here. I've already taken this pile to the over to the compost pile. I was going to say to the road, but we took limbs to the road. And of course there are many things that still need to be cut. These mums that have already bloomed out need to be cut back. In this little container, they were a pretty color. This heart vine is dying back. Over here are some caterpillars, which we left because if you take those down, you won't have butterflies. So, and we did have plenty of butterflies this year. And then I can see the lamb's ear not as near as big as it was in the last years, but it's okay because we dug it up and divided it. And this bed will go pretty down to a bare point so that we can rethink this bed this year. Now Donald did pull up some irises whenever he was pulling up those huge weeds that got in here. These irises right here are missing. There's some over here, but I had 2 patches, and some things did get kind of caught up in the cleanup that, you know, I don't nitpick about because, you know, he's doing such a great thing to help me out that I'm not going to nitpick about it. Here are my potted geraniums, which they're starting to dry up. I know that you can overwinter these. I don't have the space to overwinter them, so I probably won't overwinter these. I've got a friend that puts them under her back deck, and well, the deck porch is built in, so they survive under there, but I don't have an area where I can overwinter these beautiful geraniums. I love the pop of red, especially with the color of the house. The house being blue and white, red just pops whenever I plant the red flowers near it. So I do love the geraniums, and I in particularly love red ones. I have a little geranium. I might take that in. I think this one's pink. I had bought it to add to the garden, and I never got it added to the garden. So I still have all this over here that I've got to decide what I'm going to do with. Some things will be okay planted late, and some things, you know, I don't think they'll be okay. But I'll decide, go through all of this and decide where I'm going to put what. Just enjoy the color and the blooms of what I've got here while I can. And you can see there are plenty of pine needles. You don't think there's very many here, but by the time I get all these raked up, it'll be more than enough to go around this Camellia sinensis. So that's just a handful I picked up. I'm going to rake some up and put on here. This bird feeder my daughter gave me, I hung it up here, and I have bumped my head on it twice. So if I have 2 red knots on my forehead from getting in and out, going this way instead of this way, I need to go this way, but it's a little bit longer, so I was trying to take a shortcut right here, and I kept bumping my head on this thing right here. So if I've got 2 red marks on my head, you'll know it's because I've been running into that, trying to get around over here to this Camellia sinensis and get this pine needles and stuff around it. I may go ahead and put a little bit of pine needles right here. Now Donald might mulch out this bed. I never know what he's going to do. I might look out here one day and he's mulching it out. So these are just my humble beginnings to get some things done, and then I'll share with you if he does anything different. I do the majority of the small gardening as far as deciding which plants to put in and cutting things back and just general maintenance of it. And Donald does the most of the heavy stuff, like, you know, when he brings mulch to the front for us to put out, I'll help him with that. But you know, I do some of the physical labor, but he does the majority of the heavy work out here. And you know, small gardens like this, they require a lot of labor. They're laborious because they've been here a long time and they have to be maintained, and sometimes things can grow faster than we can get the growth and stuff cut back. So it gets away from us every once in a while, but for the most part we maintain it all right. I like a full, lush, thick garden. I hate a little skimpy garden. So, yeah. But Donald likes it very well maintained. He likes more of a formal garden. We've got to cut these elderberries down. They'll be cut down to the ground probably this year. We did not cut them last year, but I think they do need to be cut down. There's more work to be done over here in this side garden. And I've got a lot of stuff over here. You might see a lot of stuff and think, wow, what is all that? What is all that mess? When I dug out the fall stuff, I got Donald's family's china. Believe it or not, the china's sitting out here. But I had to bring it outside because I had to spread it out and wrap it in bubble wrap. So that's what this is. And it came out when it was in cardboard boxes. And of course I'll have to clean all this up and put it back. But it came out when I dug out all of the fall stuff. When I dug out the fall totes, this came out. And this is, it's called Irene. I think it's beautiful. Here is a piece of it that was chipped. But see that beautiful floral inside there? This one had a big chip on it, so I took it out. And you know, people are not valuing china and things like they once did. But I'm going to use this one as a scoop out here. And this is got to go back in where where I took out all of the fall totes. So I'm just like stacked with totes and stuff in different areas. But I'm not going to get rid of this china. This is family china from Donald's. And of course Donald's mama, she has her china. And she is going to pass that down to Donald because I love it. I love china and dishes, and I take good care of them. Even they're sitting out here in the tote. But they're out here because all of that fall stuff had to come out, and I could not, and the way that it's stacked, I couldn't put it all back in because it has to go on top of all of that. Those other fall totes. Now this is an empty tote, and I've got my other set of china that I've got to get out here and wrap up. Now this is crazy. Isn't this crazy? But this is the china here that I've got to get out here and wrap and put in this tote, and then carry these back inside and put them where I store all of this kind of things. We've got a closet down at the end of the hall, and so I'll be doing that. So that's the kind of crazy thing I've got going on. So I've got my china out there in that potting area where I've got to clean that up. But it's because I pulled out all the fall totes, and I didn't get that put back in immediately after because they were heavy. By the time I went through that stack of totes and got all that fall stuff out, the fall totes, I was just going to wait until the next day to put the china totes back in there. But I didn't get them back in there because they were heavy and they've just been sitting out there. So that's one thing I've got to get accomplished. I've got a list, and I've got to get all that stuff marked off on that list. The kiddos are here today. They've made it. We're sitting outside for a little bit. We're going to soak in some of this sunshine. Maddie, good morning. Good morning. And so we're out here this morning just want to get some vitamin D. I'm going to let them be outside for a little while and finish up a few things. And I've got a stack of blankets in there on the couch because I've got 6 grandkids. Little enough, still small enough to enjoy sleepovers and blanket forts. So I've got stacks of blankets, and that's real life here. That's the kind of thing that it is. Now I'm trying to find a solution. I want maybe some kind of a cabinet or to change some things around. Definitely got to get bookshelves for my books. Still working on a library solution and trying to find a solution so that I can put the blankets where they can get to them whenever it's time for a blanket fort or a sleepover. And you know, that's just life around here. Always a lot going on, and a lot that's needs to be done. It's a long list. But we are handling it. We're getting it done this morning, enjoying a fall morning, a good cinnamon tea, a good little garden check out here, sharing with you what's going to be done. And I just wanted to explain a few things to you. I know I don't have to explain those things because things are just like they are. But I am authentic with you. I'm real. This is how it is around here. And I like to share that with you. And I'm not alone. I find out that I have plenty of people that are very similar. Look across the street. Can you see those leaves falling right here? Look at the leaves falling. Normally it doesn't get so crazy that things spill out of the house, but lately Donald has had to go and spend a lot of time with his mom and do some things that I don't want to trouble him to have to lift all of these dishes. I don't want to trouble him to have to, look how pretty these are. I thought these would be beautiful to have Easter dinner on. These are probably about the same time that the other ones are. What is the name of them here? Norleans, China made in Japan. Livonia. Isn't that pretty? That's beautiful. I love it. I love the dogwoods. I thought that was so pretty. And the gold rim that's around it. And I'm going to wrap these in bubble wrap and put them here in this tote, and they'll go back in with, you know, when I put up the fall stuff. I may take these out sooner, but we'll have to see how it all goes. But I'll go ahead and get these wrapped up and get them in this tote. And there's not that many. There's not as many in this setting as there are the one that came from Donald's family. So I'm going to go ahead and get these wrapped up so I can put them. Isn't that funny that they're out here in this area? And I still have got to take these house plants in, especially my orchids. You know, my orchids need to go in because it's going to get way too cold for them out here. So that's work that has to be done. There's lots and lots of work that has to be done around here continually. Sorting through things and just going through stuff and getting it put up. And I've been going through some things, getting rid of a lot, donating it to the thrift store, which is what I need to do. Anyway, some things that I don't use anymore that don't have value, sentimental value, or something that I really enjoy using. So I'm dragging out to go through things and to put things up. So that's causing a conundrum, and trying to get the consistent amount of time that I need to do that is causing a lot of problems because I just don't have the time to continually do it. I mean, I have to cook, and there's lots of other things that need to be done, and so I've just been in a conundrum here. The squirrel is over at the neighbor's house. Look at him creeping. I don't know if you can see him. Right there, he's got something in his mouth. You can see him. But we do have critters out here. Now the next possum that we catch, I'm going to let him stay because possums are wonderful, wonderful animals. We just couldn't have so many of them. And I think a mama had babies, but because they were just everywhere. But the next possum, we're going to let him just move right in and live out here with us. He'll be our critter, our outside critter. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get these things put up. Thank you for letting me share things with you. At the end of this video, I'm going to add those shots where Donald and I went up to the mountains and, you know, further on up in the mountains. And just share with you what's going on right now. Now, this is a week later, so the leaves have changed a lot more from that video, but I was going to share with you at that time what we saw when we went up to the mountains. Thank you for joining me today. I'm so glad that you're here. I hope it encouraged you in some way. I hope that you enjoyed it. Consider subscribing, sharing, like if you like it. Leave a comment. All that helps me. I'm a small channel, and all those things really help me. I'm glad that you joined me today, and like always, until next time. Remember, if you don't want your dishes to break, if you don't want anything that is glass, pottery, porcelain, if you don't want it to break, make sure that it never touches. When you store it, wrap it up good enough individually so that nothing is bumping into each other, and it'll save your dishes. Just make sure they're never touching. There's some yellow, some different colors. It's still about like I predicted though. Still not a lot of color. There are some yellows and patches, but you can see the brown is on them.
Quite a few of them think lost their leaves.
Yeah. Losing their leaves earlier. That's probably because it's so dry. We're supposed to get a little bit of rain today. You can see the cloudy skies, but it's just sprinkled so far.
Yeah, there's a few trees hanging in there.
Yeah. Pilot Mountain's looking good. Still looks like a summer mountain. You don't see a lot of
It's not
color on it yet.
full color yet.
No. Bunch of stuff. Well, the rain's come along. It's here now. We're riding in the rain.
I hope the rain's enough to let everything good.
I do too, honey. He says he hopes it rains enough to give everything a good soak and to wet everything really good. His
Weedy ass. You look tasty ass.
not much rain, but those clouds look like it might open up here in a little bit.
I think it's calling for it later today.
If you ever alone out there and you're talking to two guys like that, one is talking and one ain't, go to the dentist. And she said she called them and they said they could get her in like 6 months, and she was like, no, I need to go now.
Which dentist?
That fellow that was selling that produce and stuff, he ain't had a sign out in a long time, has he?